everybody, even if you're not teaching Bible, because you might have to teach Bible at some point. Somebody might be gone, surely Robin might not be able to be available, so, and it's really quite simple. You just, whatever it was that you were learning, you just make it age appropriate for the kids. So if you, maybe it would be like for the littles, it might be coloring pages, it might be a project or something. It might be role playing. Like we might say, okay, we're learning about the Sanhedrin. That's in here, and we're going to be like, okay, who's going to be, let's pretend, let's role play it. So you're going to be the Jews, the traditional religious people, the Jews. You're going to be the Sadducees, who were the people that, the rich people of the time, and they weren't necessarily super religious. They kind of had their own religions, Hollywood, so, and, or government or whatever. And then, the believers, and then or the disciples, or and you're gonna just reenact what it was that you read that week.
So is it also a kind of a review of last week and a preview of this week for Bible? Or
yeah, so every class, the first part of the class, like the first 15 minutes of the class, you will introduce or review. You'll review what you just did, then you'll introduce something, what you're actually, you kind of do your activity. So you review what you did, or maybe it would be like a Bible study, or your Bible verse for that week, review the Bible verse for that week, and then introduce a new Bible verse, do your activity, and then what you're going to do next week. You tell them what we're going to do next week. Which, for Bible, it would be like, okay, here's what we did, and then the activity or the project. For the older kids, it's going to be discussion. How did that apply to you? Like, it's especially in high school, it's going to be discussion with each other. And so you've done the Bible study. We've all done it together. We're all learning the same things. Something jumps out at you. You want to ask a question, to pose it to the high schoolers or middle schoolers, and say, how does that look like in your life? And then they have a discussion about it. And then you say, okay, next week, here's the memory verse for next week, and read blah blah, have this done for next week, which is in the syllabus. It will be in your syllabus. So your syllabus is a really handy tool to help you to know what you're going to teach, because you look at there and you go, okay, this is what we're going to teach on Monday, and you have that an activity ready, appropriate for your class. That's a super fun part. That's especially for the littles. I don't know. I think that's the fun part, because it's the fun. It's the interacting and it's the doing stuff. It's not the sitting there writing anything, and it's exploring ideas, and it's all of that stuff is what we do at Ascend on Monday for every class. So it's super fun. Does that make sense? So you review what you did, you do your activity, and introduce your next thing. Basically, those three things is what you do in your class. And your syllabus is your guide, and it will tell you exactly what's coming up, what to do next. So you get to go, oh, this is my favorite thing in anatomy, or, this historical thing. We're totally going to do this super cool, whatever historical thing. Like for science one, for the littles, we did, it was beekeepers. So we dressed up like beekeepers and pretended we were beekeepers and spun each other around and said, you're the extractor, and they loved it. They love stuff like that. And then they're like, can I be the extractinator, And it's just super duper fun. So hands-on, fun stuff for the classes while we're here at Ascend. The stuff that you want to do. And it doesn't even have to be the whole lesson. Like maybe it was like Stephen. You saw Stephen or something and that jumped out at you. And so you just want to do an exercise about Stephen. Or like one time in science, it was like beetles and there was bioluminescence. It was one little line in the science, but it's kind of like the I3. I was like, bioluminescence, that would be super fun. Let's do that. It's like chemicals, it's glow sticks, it's, and so then you get to elaborate and do something fun that you would want to do in it. So.
I would love for you to keep going.